Hello, my name's Steve Jasper, aka the Jet Lag Guy, and welcome to my podcast, Whatever Happened to Baby Jet Lag?
Whatever happened with baby jet lag?
Whatever happened?
We'll find out. And I am the co-host, Arthur Chen, the chatty curator.
Steve, have you ever going to a concert or movie that you really relax and want to fall asleep?
Well, we got to talk about Jackie O. So Jackie O Henderson from the Kyle and Jackie O show did exactly that at her daughter's concert. So we got to talk about her complete failure as a parent. Jackie O, you are not the parent. Actually, that's not quite it.
No,
It's all understandable. The poor woman was jet lagged, but it gets better, right?
Ooh.
So she was supporting her 14-year-old daughter's daughter at a concert, and she just stepped off the plane. So the poor woman was jet lagged, and then she was in a darkened room because they dim all the lights in the concert hall, and that's a cue for us to sleep, especially if you're jet lagged. But then she woke up. She filmed the wrong girl. She was there to videotape it, and she filmed the wrong. Some girl who was not her daughter. So yeah, Jackie O was jet lagged.
Oh God!
I think if your people get in touch, I will send you a copy of my book. I think you need it, Jackie O, so that you don't do that again. But no, I mean she's human.
Oh look, I mean it's like we probably got friends who have like teenage children and trying to balance a career can be a very tricky thing.
It is.
But picking up the wrong person as your daughter can be a little bit tricky.
Yeah.
And they're not recommended.
No.
Yeah.
No. So poor Jackie O. Yeah.
Oh.
Jet lag strikes again. So,
Well, for those who want to learn about it, they can read the book.
they can, and you can get it on my website www.jetlagguy.com.au.
Or they can listen to your new podcast on Fridays, which is, we'll talk about that after the break.
We'll talk about that after the break.
Yes. So, Steve, let's talk about your new podcast.
We're going to talk about the new podcast. New episode drops on Friday, this coming Friday, so that's exciting.
And it is a limited series that would be talking to specialists in the area.
Experts in the area of jet lag, circadian rhythm, sleep. And this Friday, I have an interview with James Wilson.
Who's that?
He had an interesting start in the whole. His family has a mattress company.
Okay.
And he is a poor sleeper. He inherited his mother's poor sleeping habits. And he said it's terrible as a mattress supplier to be a poor sleeper. It's not good advertising for your product. So he determined to learn everything about sleep. And one of his he kept bumping up against was what he calls sleep bollocks. He's from Yorkshire. Right?
Oh, okay. Right. That makes sense now.
Yeah.
That makes sense now.
And the nonsense that people write about. So, and it's something I've bumped up against too. I talk about earthing, where people go out and connect with gas. They're actually skying. You're actually looking at the sky and letting the sunlight recalibrate your system. And the 5 a.m. club, which we both hate. And one thing he's up against is the red light in the fridge. Now, we know that blue-green light will sort of wake you up. It will stimulate the suprachiasmatic nucleus in the brain and switch off melatonin.
Yeah, I heard that Mary Poppins song.
Yes, but there's not a lot of strength in the light in your fridge. So you probably don't need a red light in your fridge. If you're looking to wake up and you're looking at light, it's probably not your fridge light that's going to wake you up. There's not a lot of lux, not a lot of intensity in your fridge light. So don't put a red light in your fridge unless you're running a brothel in there. But I don't recommend that.
No,
no judgment if you are.
no,
So we just talked about all of the nonsense. So that was his entry into the sleep arena. So
My sleep arena. That's
Well,
a nice
you know.
word to put. That's actually quite a nice word.
it puts an interesting visual in it.
Yeah,
Arena full
it's-
of people sleeping. You know. So you think
No, I'm
you
thinking
can sleep.
about like a Thunderdome, but sleeping.
Strictly sleeping.
Ooh, there you go.
Australian Bone Idol.
Well, I think we need to cut to the break, shall we?
Okay.
Steve, obviously, jet lag is your business.
Yeah.
And running your business, I mean, appeared on it multiple times already,
Yeah.
and I enjoy having him as a
Repeat
guest.
offender.
Oh yes. But I mean, let's talk the business plug to my podcast, the Get Chatty Pod. Anyway,
The Get Chatty podcast.
and it's the business side of things, like the business admin. What's your
This is-
experience? Uh-oh.
Yeah, that site tells you everything. There's a lot in running a business that is tedious. You know, I love doing these podcasts. I love editing the podcast. I love writing stuff and sharing on the socials. That's fun. I love going to events and promoting and talking, and you know, I can talk about jet lag under 6 feet of wet cement. I'm fine with that. But it's the admin stuff. It's, for example, setting up a Square account, and you know, with the app, setting up for Apple and for Google, and you know, ticking a box about Taiwanese tax laws, and you're getting do you have a US PIN ID and all this sort of thing. And I can get help for a lot of that, but it's still all that tedious stuff. You know, I have spreadsheets for all my financials, and now I have Financial Friday. And I just write, what have I spent this week? You know,
That's a very healthy approach, though.
it's
Because
good to add structure.
Yeah.
But you know, having like website Wednesday, you know,
It's
I've got to do a lot of work on my website. That's something else I find tedious, because you save and you save and you save what you've done, then you save it again, and then you sync, and then you wait for it to upload. That's not a quick process.
no, and the thing is, sometimes that over time that you also want to fine tune it, because you can be changing the direction a little bit, or the new information, new
absolutely.
discovery, and it's a very it's actually giving us a really good, like behind the scene about like it's not always glitz and glamour of running a business.
There's a lot of tedium.
And how are you balancing your new project? Because you got a new podcast.
I do. I have a new podcast. New episode drops on Friday, which we've talked about.
Yes.
Um,
How are you balancing
It's
that?
actually a lot easier to edit for that podcast than for this one.
Oh, really?
Yes. No.
What have I
But we
done?
have lots of little segments. So
Yeah.
so we have 3 segments, and I've got to find images for each. And whereas the other one, I'm just letting an expert talk. I'll add a few images, but I'll edit at the beginning and the end. I do cutting, add a few images. I just let them talk, and it's mostly them talking on the screen with a few images added for interest, just to keep it going, so it's not just a talking head.
And I think, personally, I think it's amazing because you're giving like all of this content that you put out online that is educating people about jet lag and the need of jet lag. So, well, for those who want to find out more about you, read about your book or everything else,
Yes, my book.
how are they going to find you?
If they come to my website, www.jetlagguy.com.au, and there's a channel for my podcast. If you look up The Jet Lag Guy on YouTube, or there's a link on my website, and I'm also on Blue Sky as The Jet Lag Guy.
Give him a follow.